spook easily stung.
Have you ever explored the depths of fear? Have you ever wondered what depravity dwells within the imagination of a storyteller that prompts them to exhume horrors untold and expose those horrors to unsuspecting audiences? Some are repulsed, and some are shaken. However, there are those who are invigorated. So to those demented souls, we invite you to journey inward into the dark bowels of human imagination. Press play, and you will discover what's in the podcast.
The ones who got off that roller coaster are still going to die. Unless we can figure out how to stop it.
I never thought I could see my own death before it happened.
And welcome back to another edition of What's in the Podcast. After a detour we took to do Pride Month and Nature Strikes Back Month, we are back with Legacies of Fear, continuing on our conversation on the Final Destination series. And of course, to continue it on, it is my friend Emily. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Always. So you just got out of Mad Monster Party.
Oh yeah, Arizona's Mad Monster Party.
Yeah. Tell us the highlights. Tell us some goodies.
Pretty much hanging out at the bar with Robert Englund is always something that seems to happen whenever they show up. If you go early, like we go on Thursday before the crowd gets there, he and why am I blanking on Jason's name?
Okay, and Hodder?
Kane Hodder, yes. He and Kane Hodder like to hang out at the bar and chill, so we got to accidentally have drinks with them. So
oh wow, you got FaceTime with the two.
Yeah.
Now Kane's line usually tends to not be so bad, but it's Robert's line that tends to take forever. So I'm impressed that you got to have impromptu FaceTime with Robert Englund. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That is the key to showing up early to this con, because it's such a chill con. They love, the celebrities there love communicating with the fans and things like that.
Now, one thing I would love to do, if ever I was in that situation, I'd ask Kane Hodder with Robert Englund there. So he's from England, because if you listen to the podcast Casualty Friday that Kane Hodder does with Felissa Rose, anytime the subject of Robert Englund comes up, he just goes, he's from England, or he goes, he's English,
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, it's such a great podcast. And actually, speaking of which, for Spooky, we had Felissa Rose back on our side, and Felissa is just a big old.
Oh, she's lovely.
She's such a goddess. I love her.
Yeah.
No, I remember we were trying to get out to Mad Monster Party, but it coincided with the Ghost concert. Actually, that's what Lynn and I were doing, like relatively around the same time. Ghost. I think they just started their North American Skeletor here. I don't know if you listen to Ghost, but they just kicked off their American tour here, and we were just like, we missed Ghost because of that hurricane. No, we've got to get back out to see Ghost, and it was Lynn's first ritual, so it was bliss. And they told us they gave us these little pouches to get rid of our phones or to keep our phones hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that was amidst much controversy, but I'm not gonna lie. Once you're in the show, when the show starts, you don't want to touch your phone.
Oh, sure.
And it was amazing. It was so good.
Nice.
Yeah. So wasn't able to get it out there with you, but we were able to. We had a good reason. Ghost was an important reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. Speaking of rides, let's go ahead and get into.
Nice segue.
Not particularly. I mean, that's very loose. So let's go ahead and get into Final Destination 3 with returning director James Wong and co-writer Glenn Morgan. I don't think we mentioned it before, but Glenn Morgan, outside of this, actually had a couple other underperforming horror films, which have since become beloved later on. He, I believe, directed Willard, the remake of Willard with Crispin Glover, and he also directed the Black Christmas remake.
Nice.
In the 2006 one, not the one that was basically in name only, quote unquote remake that Blumhouse did, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
So they got back together again to bring this one to light. So you told me previously this one was your favorite.
It is, yes.
It is.
Yes.
So go ahead and start with that. Tell us why this one is your top.
Well, I had to think about that myself because it's the one I've seen the most, and there's several elements to it which we'll touch on. It starts Do you want me to go into like the premise of the disaster or
Yeah, if
anything
you
like
want to do the
that?
synopsis, yeah, give us a
Because
synopsis.
part of that is the reason. The disaster in this one is a roller coaster, which I am afraid of.
Really?
So, yes, I hate free falling. Everything else about it, I don't mind, but I don't like free falling. It's one of the worst feelings that I get.
Mm.
So when I'm watching this movie, I feel the fear she has when she's waiting in line for this ride because I have a similar fear of I don't want to be here. I want to go back. And at some point in that line, you can't go back and you know you're stuck doing this.
Well, I could definitely tell you, like, happily, is like realistically, no, they do actually have the chicken out point at the end of the
hmm
line. It's like if
Oh, yeah.
no, they actually do have a point where you could say, I'm not going to get on this line, and they actually like have staff usher you to the point where the ride lets off in case you have anyone who's still going on the ride
Sure.
with you. So no, you're safe no matter
In
what.
in real life, in this movie, they tried to make it a little bit more like there's no turning back, and she had to fight to get off that ride.
Yeah, I have some issues with that sequence, but let's continue on with the
Okay.
synopsis.
It stars one of the coolest actresses, in my opinion,
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is also Ramona Flowers.
She's Ramona Flowers, she's Huntress,
She's lovely. I just love her
and
so much.
and she's Hera fucking Syndulla now. So it's like,
Oof.
oh man, I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Just yeah, wonderful. And it was one of the earliest, I think it was the first movie I ever saw her in when I was a kid.
Mm.
This one.
Actually, the first time I ever saw her was Death Proof
Oh,
in
really? Yep.
Grindhouse. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah, I always said a missed opportunity. They leave
hmm
her with the guy who owns the car, and you think that she's going to be in some kind of like horrible peril. What would have been hilarious is like they have like a post credits thing where they all drive up in the car now that it's all mangled and shit, and he comes out, with a sheet around, wearing a sheet around his waist, and she comes out where, with a sheet around, like they actually hit it off. I think that
Ah.
would have been kind of fun if they did that because I was always curious, like what would have happened to that poor girl after. I
Man, it's
think it
been a
just looked.
minute since I've seen those movies.
Yeah,
The
I
Grindhouse.
one day I might do the Grindhouse films
hmm
like together because that was such a, oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
so good. But yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is such a freaking great actress, and not only that,
hmm
I love how in a lot of her roles she's employed her experience as a dancer to really look awesome in action
Oh,
sequences.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Scott Pilgrim alone is great, but I still maintain her ferocity as freaking Huntress and Birds of Prey
hmm
is unrivaled. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, yeah. So the acting, I think, is pretty top tier in this one,
Mm,
which throughout the Final Destination series, as we've seen, it does wax and wane the acting ability, but this is,
yeah.
I think, one of the stronger ones for that. I think they use music really well in this movie because they
That's
definitely bring up a few songs again and again just to remind you what's
the
going on.
sound of love.
And yeah,
Yeah,
um, someone's walking behind you several
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I also like the element of the photos in this movie. They don't
Mhm.
go over it before and they don't come back to it later, but the way she sees the hints of the deaths to happen are physical photos that she's printed out that she took the night of the accident. So not only she can see the hints, everybody can see the hints if they're looking at these
Yeah.
photos close enough. And it's not just some terribly CGI'd nightmare that she has every night.
We'll comment on all that later. But no, these are all the points that you're talking about, are all the things that. Now, when I finally did sit down and watch this one, this was the one, this is among the first that I had not seen. Like I said, I stopped after two. But when I finally sat down and watched this one has high entertainment value. I mean,
hmm
even if I don't consider this the best, I will still easily say this is a fun entry in the series, which I can happily watch, like in the same breath as the rest of them, just because this one has a lot of fun to it.
Yeah.
And you're right, the whole prophecy element, the way they do it in this instance, is a lot more interesting. I'm a puzzle freak, so I do like the idea that
Right.
that instead of her having a very specific idea of how this is going to happen, I like how she has to interpret the photos.
Yeah, and you're interpreting along with them because you don't know because she doesn't know, and you're like, once it happens, you're like, oh yeah, that's what's in the photo. Got it.
Hmm. And even then, it's still just vague enough that you don't
hmm
know
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, obviously our synopsis is the same thing where gets a prophecy, gets off the thing, it happens, death is fine.
Yes. Yeah, she's the yearbook photographer. So at this we're back to high school as we
Mm.
veered away from it and two, we came right back to high schoolers going to a fair, county fair.
for grad night, I believe. Yeah.
grad night, yeah. And
Yeah.
she's taking snapping photos of all of her classmates and everything, and then she starts having the premonition when she gets on the roller coaster. That there is, I notice a plot hole, a little bit of a plot hole in that what sets off the roller coaster disaster, the hydraulics are fucked. This roller coaster was like a messed up
Yeah.
roller coaster already, but like what set it off was Frankie's camera falling and wrapping around the track, and then they run it over. And then when he gets off, well, that never happens then. So just a
I'm gonna
bit.
read it. If death is the kind of thing that's gonna cause hydro failures, if even
Sure.
if that camera didn't happen, death was gonna
Hmm.
find some way to
Oh yeah.
screw up that roller coaster. I just don't. I'm not even gonna call it because again, there's no such thing as plot holes. Just
Sure.
plot points that the director and the writers don't feel important to explain. All you need to know is that that shit's happening no
Yeah.
matter what.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I saw it. I was like, whatever. It happened. It happened. It was going to happen anyway. The
Yeah.
camera
Exactly.
just accelerated it or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said, the hydraulics on those things were fucked.
And that's what
Anyways.
she starts screaming as the hydraulics are broken, like we have to get off this ride, and they only let half the people off the ride.
Yeah,
So
that is where I'm
her
calling. Yeah, that's the moment where I'm like going, no. At the second,
why
like,
would they do that?
why would they say no? No one else is getting
Yeah,
off. Like,
why?
yeah, no. If
Just
a
to have
person
some
is
tragic deaths.
if a person is legitimately screaming that there is an actual problem,
Something's wrong with the ride.
something's wrong with the ride, no, they are act. I believe there is legal statutes where they have to stop everything and inspect the roller coaster
Uh-huh.
before they lift off. So these guys are primed for a major ass lawsuit. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
big time lawsuit on that. I find it the thing that's actually kind of funny is that the roller coaster that um this is based on, this is actually a real roller coaster out of Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
So I'm left to wonder, did this movie improve tourism for that park? And do people want to ride that roller coaster because it's
It's a
local
good question.
company? I mean, the funny thing is I look at that and I'm like going, that compared to honestly, you know what roller coaster they should have done, which I would actually believe a hell of a lot more would do this shit. If you go to Vegas, to the New York casino, the New York cab ride roller coaster, that
Mm.
thing was pain. That thing was a saw
Oof.
trap on rail. And that was more of a saw trap than the actual saw roller coaster in
Yeah.
So that thing was painful. And I was like, and I
Oh,
remember watching this movie going, God, man, that's basically how I felt just on that damn roller coaster. Yeah,
rough.
I was in physical agony getting off that, and I
Oh,
love roller
gosh.
coasters.
Yeah,
I
yeah. It
love
just
roller
depends
coasters.
on who manufactures them and how upkept they are, which I don't know how often they keep up that roller coaster. So
I mean,
that's interesting.
yeah, they kind of build up that this entire fair that they're at is kind of like a obviously not a major fair. It's like obviously one of those tourist trap kind of fairs kind of
Oh
place. So
yeah.
you can believe that maintenance might be for shit on this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not quite a state fair level because it has a real roller coaster, but yeah, lacking in some kind of maintenance.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, well, funny enough, I have seen state fairs that do have like those rudimentary kind of roller coasters, but
Oh
those
yeah.
don't go as hard as the one that's portrayed in this movie,
Yeah,
obviously.
this one is a permanent looking roller coaster. It's there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, how extreme. Now, after you saw this movie, do you think this movie kind of exacerbated your feelings towards roller coasters, or were they always there? Or did
No, no, because my biggest issue with roller coasters is the drop.
yeah, just the drop.
It's I'm not just roller coasters in general scare me. It's just that I hate that first drop and then I'm fine.
Ah,
So it was never a fear of like it's gonna fall apart. It was just a fear of that feeling.
okay. All right, so you kind of so I'm just trying to figure you out here because actually
Mhm.
enough, Lynn has a hard time with roller coasters as well.
Ah,
But theirs is kind of an interesting thing. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's either the velocity. Sometimes they say it's because they like seeing where they're going. On
mm,
the other side, I believe they say heights is an issue. I think it's like for Lynn, it's like a perfect storm of unpredictability. It's like they don't
sure,
know exactly what they're in for. And one thing I've noticed that a lot of times after they go on a roller coaster, like the first time, after they kind of work their way through it,
sure.
they can actually go on it again and again and again afterwards. Like they had an initial worry about the Tron roller coaster in the beginning, but now
Hmm.
Link can go on that like nothing
Gotcha.
on
Yeah,
that.
I mean that might actually be like a therapy thing for me as well. If I
Exposure therapy,
wanted,
yeah.
yeah, if I wanted to go on a roller coaster over and over again, I probably would get used to it. It's just, man.
Yeah. You see, I'll say I never mind the initial drop. I'll still maintain the Rip Ride Rocket, God rest it,
Mm.
was still one of my favorites because that was a full 90-degree drop. Well, it was a 90-degree ascent,
Up.
and
So
then
it's the Superman.
yeah, kind of thing. But I will say I'm actually more of a whore for the roller coasters that just launch you out, that just shoot you out the gate. I'm just a big fan of those.
Yeah, I can handle every roller coaster at Disneyland because the drop is a spiral and I can handle that. It's just that
Yeah.
straight drop I can't handle.
Okay, so the ones that you and I'm pretty sure like the ones that do like that gradual build up to that
Hmm.
drop. I'm sure that dude slow.
That's not helping my
That's
anxiety,
not helping
no.
your artery.
Especially when it's
Okay.
outside and you can see the park getting further and further away.
Okay, then I would say if you ever get out to Busch Gardens, I would strongly avoid the Iron Gwanzi because that one, not only does that, I loved it, man. That was probably the first time in a long time I've been on a roller coaster going, I'm not sure about this.
Mm,
And I love that
gosh.
feeling because I felt legitimately, I was in danger. But that was great. For me, that was great. You know, may have gotten a little stiff on that. But but yeah, I would avoid that one because that one has such a long build
Oh,
up. And I will
gosh,
say
yeah.
when you get to that initial dip, it does get crazy.
Yeah, my anxiety starts in a line and it doesn't stop until that drop is over.
Yeah. Now do you like the roller coaster where your legs are dangling, or are you one of those ones who like the just
I
get
need
down?
something to hang on to. So like
Okay.
I need it to come on down so I can kind of grip onto that like in the movie or it's over their shoulders like that. I just
Yeah.
need to feel like I can just
One
really
I'd
hold
be
up.
one I'd be intrigued, even though it's now kind of no go for me because fuck J.K. Rowling, but Hagrid's
Hmm.
motorbike
Oh yeah.
that one was an amazing one where it was much more about the speed.
Mm.
It was a lot more about the speed, but there were some moments where there were drops, and there was one moment that briefly goes 90 degrees, but then goes backwards.
Oh,
But it was one of those one. It was a really well constructed roller coaster that really was about trying to create the sensation of being on Hagrid's motorbike.
gotcha.
So again, just fuck you, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, right.
I can never go back to anything Potter related. Yeah,
Nope. I'm
damn it.
not giving you any money.
Fuck that bitch. So yeah, but that oh, we could have a whole conversation just about roller coasters.
Just about roller coasters. Yeah, I find them fascinating, really. It's
They really are. My dad was always hilarious riding those. There on the Rip Ride Rocket, they actually film your face,
mm,
you know, while you're on it. And when we reviewed the footage, my dad, because he was an engineer, because he was a mechanic, the thing he likes doing, he doesn't do the screaming thing or anything like that. He is literally reverse engineering the roller
oh yeah.
coaster as he's on it.
Yeah.
So his face is looking all analytical,
Yeah, of course.
looking at the odds and ends about it. I think he said like the Hulk is like one of his favorites because of how well that's
Wow.
done. Now the Hulk is a masterpiece.
Wow.
That is a good one. So, all right. You know, but this roller coaster, on the other hand, not so.
It's not so great. It's a little
Not,
rough, I've noticed.
yeah, not so great. I mean, and very clearly fragile in many respects. So, I suppose that in the next step, we should probably just talk about all of our characters on the whole in this one. I mean, we of course had Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Wendy,
Hmm.
uh, whose arc is control freak.
Yes, which as you mentioned with you said Lynn's issue with roller coasters is actually stated very well in this movie. Her
Mhm.
boyfriend says fear is a feeling of not having control, and that is the plot, that is the theme of the whole movie is not having control when she's a control freak.
Yeah, and actually, and I will give it this on a writing level. The roller coaster was a great choice to
Hmm.
go with that because, for all intents and purposes, when you get in the roller coaster, your safety, your life is in the hands of the mechanics, in the hands of the
Yeah.
people running the roller coaster, and even just of the engineers who designed it.
Yeah.
So you are, for all intents and purposes, for the brief couple minutes you're on that roller coaster, forfeiting control of your life
Yes.
onto onto other people. So
Hmm.
it there is something kind of inspired about the fact that you have this particular story arc combined with that is specific icon. I mean, because the that is the interesting about death on the whole is that ultimately we all want to remain in control of our lives, but
Hmm.
in the end, it's all death.
Oh yeah.
Death says when you go.
Yeah, yeah, that is absolutely this franchises, and then we'll touch on later. They mention what happens if you try to take it into your own hands.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
they They try everything in this franchise.
Yeah, only death is allowed to fuck with your life.
Hmm.
Only death is allowed to do that. But we for this we do have like a whole this is the one where I will say they started falling into the, let's make douchey characters, so hateable so that way we can like kill them with joy
Yeah.
kind of thing. I mean, the first
Yeah.
two you were able to get off the hook, a little bit with some of those characters because a lot of their motivations were very fine. This one, on the other hand, you got a douchebag hell bent to stalk two high school girls with his camera.
2 years after he already graduated this high school, by the way. What are you still doing here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God.
That is Frankie. Frankie
Yeah, that,
Cheeks.
huh?
Frankie Cheeks, he calls himself.
Frankie Cheeks.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Frankie. Yeah. Played by Sam Easton. And Jesus Christ. Yeah. I. There's so many times when you watch movies like this and you go like, "There's no way a person like that exists." But then you're like,
Oh boy.
no.
No, there is,
Just go on.
unfortunately.
If you start off on TikTok and then you just slip through your default feed, you realize no, there's Frankie Cheeks
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. Hmm.
Frankie Cheeks is everywhere.
That
Yeah.
guy's such a Frankie Cheeks.
Yeah, we just need to make
Yep.
that phrase out. He's such a Frankie Cheeks.
Cheeks. Nobody
Yeah.
gets it unless they've seen this movie.
Well, see what I love, well, the thing that cracks me up about is that he stalks his ass onto the roller coaster,
Hmm.
brings out the camera so he could film these two girls, and he's like going and he's asking them to show their titties. Like by this point, they've got the harness
Yeah,
over.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, how are they going to do that, man?
It's like even if they were willing, how could they do that?
Which, man, these girls, these poor girls, Ashley and Ashley,
Yeah,
who are besties, we're besties, are just being
yeah.
stalked by this guy throughout the entire night.
In fact, I'm trying to remember. I think Ashley, or one of the Ashleys, was actually, I think she was the little girl in the beginning of the It miniseries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one
Nice.
that initially gets taken by Pennywise,
Oh.
and that gets taken by Pennywise, pretty much alerting Mike Hanlon that he's back.
Hmm.
Also got now this cannot be the actor's real name. Yeah, oh no, it is his real name. Texas Battle as Louis
Texas
Romero.
battle.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I find it funny that his
Wow.
name is after the dwelling of the Sawyer family from Texas Chainsaw 2. That's just kind of funny to me.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, now his death in the movie rings a little close to my heart, principally because I am actually both you and I would imagine this one still stings for you a little bit because I know you and me are on a big workout kick
Hmm.
as well. And yeah, I wish you could have been in the room for me when I watched this for the first time because when his freaking death happens, uh I freaking leaped out of my seat his death because like fuck shit, god damn, no,
Yep,
that's
yep. You
those
know
are
what?
my
Yeah, because you don't know what you're looking for.
well, is it well the we got to talk about the death scenes as their stage. I mean, the
Sure.
great thing about this franchise is that they always tease you
Hmm.
with how it's going to happen. They always, yeah. In this one, we're focusing on the easily the most OSHA
Oh
deficient
God.
decoration on the fucking wall. These two scimitars above his.
Yeah, and meanwhile in the background we have a leaky water fountain and some boombox right next to it. Like, guys,
Yeah, what is all this? Yeah,
what is all this distraction?
yeah, all this distraction going. I'll say this is the most chaotic gym I've ever been at. Like
Yeah.
everyone who's ever had paranoia about gyms and
Hmm.
like the kind of assholes they think dwell in those gyms, I
Hmm.
think they probably
This
saw
is
this
it.
movie and thought that yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
This is that gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Texas Battle plays Luis Romero.
Who
Uh,
is
and
just the douchiest meathead you've ever heard in this movie.
oh
He
yeah,
doesn't care about anything.
oh yeah, it has like this kind of crazy ass god complex. It's just the way like yeah, no, stop it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. Oh man.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it so
Oh
hard
yeah.
when that
But
bit.
it was quite a buildup. Like I feel like all the deaths in this movie are such a buildup to what happens to them.
Mm.
None of them I don't think are very forgettable at all. So that's another reason why I think this is one of the strongest ones.
This I can definitely agree with you on that front. Pretty much most of the deaths are standouts on this one. They especially, I mean, actually, the one everyone talks about is the tanning bed death.
It's home to my favorite slash least favorite death ever because to this day I squirm watching the tanning bed scene.
Yeah. Well, what's there about that squirm worthy for you?
It's a slow painful because everybody knows what it feels like to touch hot glass or hot metal,
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody knows what it would feel like to be all over your body. And to see them slowly burning, bubbling skin, cracking skin, nowhere to go. They are trapped top and bottom with burning glass. Like,
Mm.
ah,
Oh wow. Yeah, I think this was for anyone who watched I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and thought, man, I would love to see what would have happened if this went to its full
yeah,
fruition. And like, yeah, you got it. You doubled your pleasure because you got two people
yeah.
dying this
Yeah,
way.
and I find it interesting. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I sort of feel like it may have been that they, during that scene, are playing Roller Coaster of Love,
Oh
a
yeah.
song that has a urban legend attached to it, and
Oh really?
the tanning bed death itself is an urban legend.
Well, okay. Well, where does Love Roller Coaster come in on that? I didn't know about that. Is it?
They say that the album cover with there's a woman with honey dripping on her. They
Hmm.
claim that something went wrong with shooting that and the honey got fused to her skin and she sued
Ooh.
them and it was a horribly painful thing. Don't think there's any truth to it, but it was one of the like notor like this is why Roller Coaster of Love was like
Okay.
scarier than it should have been.
How does honey get fused to your skin? It's one.
Like
It's
there was like the lights of the shoot or something like that. It got too hot. It was
and
a
even then,
dumb
it's a
urban
condiment.
legend.
It's a condiment. It can wash off.
Well, they claim that the scream you hear in the original song is actually a woman screaming.
Uh-huh.
And wherever that legend came from, the source of that scream, it varies. So
Yeah.
that's one of the sources they say.
Okay.
But so yeah, if you listen to the original, there is a scream in there and people claim that it's a real scream.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No. Yeah. And well, we also, I don't think we mentioned it in the previous one, but I have noticed another thing that Death really relies on in this franchise. He loves his bad electrics,
Liquids and
liquids and bad
electrics.
electrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like keep your goddamn water coolers and stuff away from the light
Yeah.
socket.
Yeah. So of course they're told don't bring drinks in here. She does anyway, and it creates an insane amount of condensation to drip onto the electricals, causing the
Mhm.
tanning beds to just keep getting hotter.
Well, and in this one, didn't the guy who could have saved them, didn't he get locked out because
He gets locked outside, and then
yeah.
a shelf falls between their beds, pinning him down, so they can't get out.
Mm, yeah,
So
so
it's
they
just
can't
a
get out.
perfect storm, and they lock the front door because they want privacy.
Of course.
So they
Which is
lock
obviously a big
themselves in
no-no.
this building, and they
Yeah.
cannot get help.
It's really hard for me with this one because on one side, yeah, this one has been accused of kind of spinning its wheels,
Mm,
because it is like set up, premonition, and then all deaths like as the main character's trying to stop them.
hmm
But I think the reason why we enjoy this one a hell of a lot more is because when it counts is like they have these well-staged death scenes and yeah, we do have the fun angle of like you said where she is interpreting the photos as she is going on and actually I think this is a prime example of when the acting is so good that it kind of
hmm
elevates the material. I
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they have very, very good reactions to every death as they should, and just like the serious tone of the movie, which the movie goes up and down with how goofy it gets throughout the franchise, but I think the tone is proper for this. It's a dark movie, it's a dark subject, I think.
Mhm.
So I like how serious the main character is and how just upset she is throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. And another nice spin on this one versus the first two is that this is someone who just, unlike the other ones where they become like kind of obsessed with it, she in the beginning just wants to be
Yeah.
over it. She just wants to like move on from it.
The other
But
main character, Kevin,
yeah,
who is her co savior in this movie, is trying to tell her about Flight 180 and how this has happened 6 years ago, and like this a year later the log truck thing happened, and like she's like, go away,
yeah,
like F off, like I don't want to hear it.
yeah. And I'm glad you brought him up because he was actually, I think, just by default was kind of my favorite character aside from Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Because in the beginning, he starts off douchey as fuck. He actually is a little bit of a creeper when he's like taking pictures of girls'
Yeah,
skirts
yeah,
and stuff, and being all like just being an all around high school douche. But I loved how after the incident happened, you see his character just go such a wonderful about face where he
yeah.
actually, you could see how profoundly affected he was by it, that he
hmm
actually becomes a very proactive character.
Yeah.
And I was actually amazed by how I started giving as much shit about him as I did about about Wendy as
Yes.
a character. So I was really into that side where I was like, because they again see, I'm going to kind of argue against anyone saying that this was spinning its wheels in terms of like doing anything new because I'm like going, no, the character dynamics are actually unique in and of itself, even compared to the first film where
Yeah.
everyone against the sun just started attacking poor Alex. In this case,
Hmm.
no, it's like characters just want to move on. Characters are having a hard time dealing, and but then you have some characters who just won't let it go, and it's not the characters you think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're all, I don't think it's spinning its wheels at all. I thought this was a very unique take on it. We will see some of that later, but I think this was a very unique, like all the characters I think are, even the ones that aren't likable. It's like we need the not likable characters still. So it's like, I'm glad they're there anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this one at least in this one, it's not a case where the core characters all stay together. I actually do
Hmm.
like how after that initial disaster, like our characters still suffer personal loss after that first disaster. I like how, Wendy and her boyfriend, it was very clear they had like a good relationship.
Yeah.
And it's actually legitimately sad. And after you've already seen the premonition, you already know, yeah, they're all destined to die, and then you're
Yeah.
hoping, like in true Final Destination fashion, like they get off, like they all get off.
Yeah.
But then
You
when you
would
see like
think.
no, some of her own friends in her own friend group,
Yep.
unfortunately,
Which
still
is why I
dead.
was like, it was a little weird to me. I was like, why would her boyfriend not just sit with her? Like, what boyfriend's like, no, I want to sit in the front. You get to go sit in the back. I'm like, well, it's a plot device to get them to split up so he dies and she doesn't.
Well, I thought,
But it,
okay, I thought that was just how the roller coaster kind of organized them, wasn't it?
well, they were together in
Oh yeah.
line. And then she was like, I can't sit in the front. I'll
Oh
freak out. And he's like, well, I'm going to sit in the front. I'm like, what boyfriend would be like, go sit in the back? I'm sitting in the front. Hey,
yeah.
other guy, go sit with her. Like,
Yeah,
that's a
I'm
little
gonna say
odd.
this. Yeah, for people who are curious about one way or another about roller coasters. All right, I'm gonna say this now. The front is fun
Hmm.
depending on the track, like, and depending on what gets you off on the track. Now, I will say being on the front, I know you don't like the initial dip, but being on the front with the initial dip is fun. But if you want to feel the G's, you go to the back.
Yeah.
That's the cool part that's why when I'm on a roller coaster, I'm like either no, front or the back. Those are the best. Like when you're on Tron, be at the front because that initial
Hmm.
launch when you're at the front is like insane. But if you really want to feel that speed, stay in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and not just,
Interesting.
and a lot of it is because after that dip, because the gravity is pulling the cart, the pulling it down,
Hmm.
it's all the cart is feeling the gravity, so it's pulling it down, and the force not just of that, it basically doubles the speed from the back end
Hmm.
because you're not just competing with gravity, you're dealing with the gravity pulling on the front of the car, pulling it down. So you really, it's kind of awesome. I love it. I love that fact. So now, don't care. Don't
So
care.
as we were saying, like they both lost their significant other, which I thought it was even more kind of sad that Kevin is like, "Oh, I was going to marry her," where earlier in the movie she says, "I'm going to break up with him." So that was never destined to last either.
Well, part of it, yeah. And there's a part of me going, "Oh, thank God we did. She's dead, so we didn't have to see that scene."
He never had to find out.
Never had to find out. And actually, it's fascinating to me that Wendy didn't tell him, which I'm
Would
glad she didn't.
you? Would
Yeah,
you?
no,
Just let him think that that was going to happen.
just let him
We
think
were
that
going to
was
get
well.
married.
That is a good little question right there. In a way, I kind of wish that there was like a scene where maybe Wendy was talking with her sister about that or
Hmm.
something where they go like, "Do you think it's right that we would have told that we tell him that or something?" Or because on one side, he's laboring under some kind of misapprehension that they were going to be lovers forever, and
Sure.
he was probably going to be doing like, "Oh, I'll die," and
So maybe it'll make him feel better if he knew that she was.
well, it would probably help him move on.
Yeah.
It would probably help him move on just to know that maybe their relationship was not going to be so that was not going to be as permanent as he thought. And then I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, do you tell him and when do you tell him? Because I don't know, it's too soon. Like, at what point is it appropriate? And is it really even your business? It's not.
um well, when you see a friend who's basically torturing himself over something that he really does need to let go of,
Hmm.
you might want to just go ahead and tell him.
Yeah.
In
I,
my book, I'd say tell him, and sooner better than later, because the later he's going to be, especially if you let it linger for like way too long,
yeah,
they're going to be all like, well, I just wasted all this time for something that was never going to. Yeah. So,
sure. But
yeah.
I do appreciate the fact that they could have put her with her boyfriend and had the whole movie been her and her boyfriend trying to figure this out. But instead, they
Yeah.
split them up. Now there's a tragedy, and now she and this guy who she says earlier in the movie, we wouldn't have even been friends if our significant others hadn't hung out. We don't even like each other or whatever she
Yeah.
says. So then they go closer through this trauma and all this stuff that's happening.
Yeah, I think that was the core that carried me through the entire movie, that I was legitimately invested in this friendship that ends up forming from tragedy, because that
Hmm.
is unfortunately another thing that does happen after a mass tragedy, is that people do become closer because they are like the connection to what they lost, but in turn they end up, their attitudes change and they end up kind of becoming different people when faced with
Yeah. As you
mortality.
saw in the first one, even the bully ends up being friends with them in the end, and it's like great.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, not spinning its wheels.
Hmm.
Franchise not spinning its wheels with this one. This one actually has shit to talk about with it. I mean, even in terms with the relationship between Wendy and her sister, as we see earlier, her sister being like trying to be boss bitch, going, eh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They definitely had some, which again, where are their parents this whole movie? They mention mom at the
Yeah,
beginning of the movie. We never see mom, but she and
yeah,
her sister are very like, their relationship is very like it's sisterly, you know. It's like they have their bickering, but they love each other.
yeah. Oh yeah, we have that. Well, her sister with, I gotta add, the strongest fucking neck I've ever encountered.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I mean, she was getting dragged around like Tobey Maguire and freaking Seabiscuit, and I was like going, it was like, no,
Wow.
she would have been like that stupid Mortal Kombat fatality where he gets on the shoulders and like stretching the neck up. I'm like, no, that's what she would have
Ah,
been.
you're gonna at least have some whiplash. You're gonna have to tweak that neck for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, that I had to laugh about. I'm like going, what
Yeah,
the hell? I mean, she's
sure.
got the freaking spine of the gods to
And
be
you
able to
young kids in
survive
your
that shit.
spines.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away from that. You know, I guess Death was just like fucking with them on this, but there is a wild card character in the proceedings. I believe his name is McKinley.
Ian McKinley. Yes, he makes a
McKinley.
mention that his last name is the same as their town and their school and everything. That's how it's
Hmm.
easy to remember his name.
Yeah. I mean, never mind that we're just gonna say goth guy, because yeah,
Yes,
yeah, him and his
McKinley.
yeah, him and his girl are like the token goth kids.
They
Um,
are. And as you mentioned, with the characters not really being very like they're not in a group the whole movie, these two were kind of left out of what was going on for most of this movie
yeah,
until Wendy and Kevin show up and tell them, and of course they don't believe them.
yeah. Oh no, they don't believe. Well, yeah, one believes them pretty damn soon, because I
Oh
believe his
yeah.
girlfriend, I think Erin, I think was his girlfriend. I think,
Yes.
yeah, but well, either way, yeah, she gets another nasty hassle. Well, I I have no idea why these characters would ever work in a hardware store, but I'm happy that they do, because,
Yeah.
you know, if there's any place where you could definitely imagine hilarity is going to ensue, it's going to be a freaking a Home Depot like store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I used to work in a metal shop, so this is where some of my anxieties came in, of all the crazy shit that can go down. And, you know, with a forklift, with the freaking nails
The
and
nail gun. Oh
the nail
man.
gun,
You ever
like all
you ever
the,
shoot any pigeons with any nail guns?
yeah, no, no, I will never do that. Never do that. Oh yeah, yeah, and damn, just everything I could get. I hate going to the Home Depot. Flat out say I hate going to the Home Depot for this reason, because I just always look at all the shelves
Oh,
and
dude.
think of all the things that can badly go wrong
Mm.
just
Because of
walking
this
down.
scene. This scene is
Just because,
perpetuating that fear.
yeah. Now see, this is where it is for me. Just even granted, I also feel just when I walk into a Home Depot, I also just feel like everyone's judging me, because they can tell I don't know
Oh.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this place,
Try
even though I
being a
know
girl
what.
in a Home Depot shopping for reverse bear trap parts when I have people asking me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Oh, see that you just gotta barrel into it and just go like, I'm making a torture device.
Because I like fit
Just
him
say it to their
together and I kind of
face.
carry him around. And it's just like, what are you doing with this sink part that's attached to all this irrigation that doesn't make sense? Oh, it makes sense. Don't trust me. It makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. And by the way, do you cherish your life?
Just curious.
Just curious. Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a saw daddy. We always seem to veer back to it. But yeah, McKinley, after he loses his girlfriend, he's the one who kind of goes completely off the rails.
Oh yeah.
But actually, unexpectedly, he's the one that goes off the rails. I did not expect that that's where we were going to go, where we were going to have like one character just completely lose his shit and actually try to serve up other people on a platter to try to save himself.
And he does mention earlier, he's the one who mentions, what if somebody decides to commit suicide? Any takers? Like,
Hmm.
he has asked that question.
Yeah, I mean, now the series has dug into that, of course. I mean,
Hmm.
in the first film, actually, I would say even better in the second film when the guy tries to blow his
Yeah,
head
and then
off.
we'll continue to touch on it later. But
Yeah, yeah.
he takes the 180 route of, fine, what if I take your life instead?
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah, they touch on it here, but well, that definitely gets delved into a hell of a lot more in a later one. Actually,
yeah,
to great effect in a later one. But now this is not a case where they plan a franchise. It's blatantly clear they never think about what they're gonna do for the next film afterward.
right.
But I'm just glad that they do something here so that way you definitely get the feeling like you're going, we talked about that in the last one. Maybe we should delve a little
Yeah.
deeper into that for the
Hmm.
next one. So
For
I
sure.
like I, I, it feels like I'm struggling to kind of come up with things to say, which I really don't want to feel like that way because I know that there's stuff to talk about here as well. But I always feel like, especially when it comes to franchises, this is why I think binging is usually the best way to go with franchises sometimes because for when you go to see just one movie in the theater, that's it. At least
Hmm.
until the unknown future, if you get a franchise entry. So for all we know, any ideas that could have been alluded to with one franchise entry kind of die right there, and you don't know if they're ever going to delve into it later on. But now that we have something later on that does explore it, you can go back to watch that one and go like, you know what? It feels like a wonderful complete whole because something alluded
Yeah,
to here gets paid off later, so it becomes more. So it makes the picture on the whole feel more complete.
for sure. Yeah. The whole bringing music back into it, it feels as if, and I've said this multiple times while watching these movies, like, who's helping them? Because it feels like the hints that they get and like the music that suddenly like tells them to turn around, something's behind you, like
Mm,
somebody is helping them. And whether it's just death just messing with them,
yeah.
just for funsies, which it
Oh,
could be.
it always is. I gotta say, if I ever met Death personified, I'd want to see Death's playlist.
Mm.
I want to look at your playlist, sir, and like you
Got a
go,
couple of those songs on my playlist.
yeah,
He's got a
going, yeah,
pretty good early 2000s playlist, I believe.
nice. You get air supplies every woman in the world. Why? I don't
Yeah.
know, but it just works. You know, just works when a big old slug monster like plays it. So I was like, hey, it works,
Hmm.
kind of thing. But yeah, with Final Destination, yeah, I think ultimately in the end with Final Destination 3, this really is a film that is like it's just a wonderful step when you're just doing your big binge. I think binging was the best way to watch this movie for me for the first time. I'm really glad I did it that way because I don't know if I would have voluntarily just watched this one. Initially, I don't think I would have voluntarily just watched this one on its own. This is one that definitely needs to be watched in tandem with the rest. But I suppose another thing that is oh, actually no, there is a couple things to bring up because I didn't because I believe even on the Blu-ray I've got, but one that made the third film actually very popular with the Blu-ray front is that there was a feature on the Blu-ray where you could actually determine the fate of certain characters because apparently they actually shot additional material to accompany
Oh,
that Blu-ray where you could actually control the fate of certain characters.
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Comment section for everyone who's actually done this feature to like tell us what it is, but apparently that was a big thing that with this movie is that they actually shot like some additional stuff to go with this feature where you could actually determine the outcome of certain characters' fates.
Ah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty damn awesome. But there was
Huh.
another, and I bring that up because this is another one of those movies that had, much like the first one, had a different ending altogether. A different ending altogether. And in fact, it was even a feature that affected the fate of characters from a previous film because it was here. Because I remember when we were talking about Final Destination 2, we talked about the fate of our two leads on that one.
Hmm.
Um, well, in one of those alternate timeline fates, it was said that they died when, ironically, the Trans Am that one character was driving crashed through and killed them.
Hmm.
So they got a more spectacular death than Alex, but
A little bit better.
yeah, but among that, they shot alternate endings for this movie. One where, and the movie ends with Wendy. and everyone coincidentally ending up on the same subway train.
Oh yeah, and that's never a good thing when all the Final Destination cast is in the same subway. That's odd.
Yeah, in the same subway, and we hear Tony Todd's voice
Oh yeah, which
saying
he
to
is
the
also the voice of the devil on the roller coaster,
yeah, the
which is
devil on the roller
fun.
coaster. Which, if you see behind the scenes footage, that devil got nards.
Oh yeah, he's got some nerds.
And like I saw him, I was like, oh my God, they actually have him teabagging everyone when it comes. That's the sickest thing. Is like the thing, devil got nards walking in through the front of this thing. So the
Gotta walk
devil's
under
basically teabagging you when you come in. And I'm like,
him.
right there,
That is
man.
just symbolism for what's about to
That-
happen to these
oh
people.
yeah, just devil bags. Devil bag. I mean, it's like that's like has been hotel Satan right there.
Hmm.
No, that's hell of a boss Satan right there. Just like going, oh yeah, bitch, yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at my daddy shack kind of thing. But of course, we can't see it in the. But, it's one of those things where you can't see it if you're not looking for it, and it's like now that you know it,
Hmm.
you're gonna look for it.
No, I know it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, now you know it's there. So now it's like, yeah, we're gonna look for it. But yeah, so this subway finale, there was two different endings. Now we did get another premonition, so we do see the subway wreck and everything like that. But they did multiple endings. One, which is actually kind of cool, where they play up the idea that she's just always going to be constantly paranoid about it till her dying day, where it just cuts to black and you just hear the subway sounds as normal, but she's always going to have this foreboding sense that it's always going to be there. But instead, no, they just balls out say, no, she done, she dead.
Which, yeah, I think that's fitting for Final Destination to be like, you can't be death. We've established.
Mhm. But there was actually, as a test, as to Mary Elizabeth Winstead, just her commitment to as an actress. One thing that happens is that she ended up doing one take where she ended up letting out some tears. Just she was that into her performance
Yeah.
that she actually let tears out, and director James Wan caught that. And for the final shot of the movie where the premonition comes out, where she realized she just had another premonition. Um,
Zooms out to the tear on
Zooms
the
out
face. Yeah.
and basically told her, "No, I want another tier." And unfortunately, poor Mary Elizabeth Winstead had to
Oh,
went through hell and back trying to force out another tier
oh, jeez.
for that. Now, I don't know if you've ever did a performance where you had to cry on stage, but have you ever had to do that?
I didn't have to, but I have done a an exercise in my acting class where I did start crying,
Mm,
which is much more intense when you don't expect that to happen.
yeah, I did. Well, I did this one play where I had this very impassioned monologue, where I was playing a character who was on the spectrum, and he does this whole beautiful monologue just talking about his son. And that was one I had absolutely no problem dropping tears. Every performance, I was able to get tears out on that one. But one that I was able to work on was when I played Nephew Fred in Christmas Carol, and it's the scene where Scrooge comes into the party. It's a brief scene, but sometimes on a good day, I was able to get tears out with it. But um, I don't think I ever had a. I did take courses in college for acting, but in order to pull that one off, it's funny, and I'm such a dork, but you know how they always say like think of something sad, think of something sad. Um, what I do, I think of a scene in a movie or something that actually always gets me every time, and for me, it's the bit in Doctor Who where River Song says, basically says like you always knew, like don't write those times and all that stuff. I was like that scene just fucking kills me.
Hey, whatever works.
It does. That always gets me. So actually, what? Yeah, I have no shame. I have no shame. I cry in movies all the time.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I actually get the weight in my chest and I get kind of emotional on some scenes. So it's like
Yeah.
hell, even bits in K-pop Demon Hunters recently just made me like choke up. And it's like, God,
Oh,
I'm such a softy. I'm a
yeah.
softy.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Amanda Young made me cry.
I know you said you
Yeah.
cried at Saw
So,
X.
yeah, I cried
Aw.
and saw X. No
Aw.
shame.
That's
No
awesome.
shame. All right. I think we've gone as far as we can go with Final Destination 3. So let's go ahead and do our favorite premonition kill and our favorite later kill.
Okay. The premonition, I liked Kevin's the best. He gets seared in half by the track itself, the broken
Yeah.
track, which oh yeah, and it's just left this half a body sitting next to her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that and it's because he was standing up while he was doing it because they
Hmm.
always say don't stand up on a roller
Yeah.
coaster. It's like
Well, they
that's
were
why.
losing their security, so they
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I love that one too because if you've ever been on Space Mountain on the Orlando side,
Oh no.
I for everyone I will say if you want a better version of Space Mountain, go to the one in Hollywood in Disneyland in California because that is a
Really?
better version of it. Yeah, it's smoother, it's better constructed, it's just a better version of it. The one in Orlando, because it's in the dark, you are terrified that the rafters are so fucking low that they're gonna knock your head off.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And that was in my head when I saw that sequel with that bit in Final Destination 3. I'm like, oh my God, he's on Space
Don't stand
Mountain.
up.
Don't stand up, you're on Space Mountain. Well, though it's hilarious. Later on, I actually did ride it when the lights were on. And then
Yeah.
I realized the rafters were like way above my head, like so far above my head. So I was never in any danger. But when you're in the dark, you feel like it's there and you're just like
Hmm.
thinking, oh my God, so, one of these is gonna do that to me. So
Oh yeah.
I think for me, the other one, which I had to love just because I love how long he holds on for on it. Like he was doing a full Ethan Hunt, was freaking Lewis
Lewis.
as he's hanging off the thing as it's still speeding on. And no, most people would be like already gone like after the first couple seconds, but he held on good.
He's got the body strength.
Yeah, he got that body strength and he made sure it worked
Yeah.
out for him. Worked out for him there. Um so I'll go ahead and take the lead on the other one. But yeah, by extension, because again, I'm at the gym all the time, but I'd easily say my favorite was his getting his head crushed
Oh God.
by the weights. That is
Yeah.
easily my favorite death of the entire thing.
Yeah, and intrusive thoughts, even just lifting my dumbbell that I do here when I do my home gym stuff is like, what if one of these weights just fell on me? What if it just fell off the damn dumbbell and hit me in the head? Like,
Hmm.
it's
Oh yeah,
intrusive.
oh yeah. Yesterday, my trainer had us do skull crushers with a
Ugh,
dumbbell. Now, skull crushers when
ironic.
using, well, skull crushers when using bar, yeah, like just dumbbells is fine because you can easily put
Hmm.
them down like by your head. But no, he was having me use like an actual like barbell, like with the thing, and that,
Kettlebells?
huh? Well,
You
no, with a
said,
bar.
oh, the barbell. I
With an
gotcha.
actual bar,
Mm,
doing skull crushers with him, and that made me feel uneasy. I'm like going, I am really glad you're here. I will never do this shit without a spot.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone, please, if certain workouts, you got to bring a spot.
Yes.
Always bring
Especially
a.
if you're lifting heavier than you think you can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Happy birthday to me, clown in a cornfield. I'm Tremor, Toxic Avenger. All of those. Do not fuck with weights.
Hmm.
That is something you need to have your spot on. Don't fuck with that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, take that shit seriously. That's our public service announcement to you today. So what was your
Oh,
favorite?
the 100% the tanning bed. Just because it still leaves such an impact on me. But a close second is going to be the nail gun death.
Yeah, Nail Gun Death. Actually, one I have to give an honorable mention to would actually have to be Frankie's.
Yeah,
Uh, Frankie's, just because it's so spontaneous and he's so far removed from what's happening like in the back, you don't think anything's going to happen to him. But
well,
then,
you don't even realize he's there until it's like, oh,
yeah.
he's right in front of you guys. You guys have been looking for him, which I didn't mention, but that is the weirdest hill in the world that they are sitting on, where like this fast food place is like off to the side of this really, really steep hill, and it looks like they're on a sidewalk almost, and then
Oh
there's a
yeah.
street right next to them that they get backed up into. Like, what is this?
Yeah,
What is
I
this
think
hill I'm looking at?
according to the behind the scenes, I think they had that whole mock-up of the fast food place was constructed
Yeah,
because they wanted that hill. I think it's because they like that hill and they wanted that hill
yeah.
for the to stage this kill. But there obviously was no drive-through on there, so they actually set up a
Because
drive-through.
it's weird with the drive-through there. I was like, why would this be right here off the road like this? I'm like, well, because it needs to set up this shot specifically. Like this is the most studio setup shot I've ever seen.
Yeah, and even then, it's like you think it's going to be a case where our leads are going to get crushed behind the thing, but then no, it's like they keep bumping, and then the freaking engine comes out, and he gets his
Yeah.
back of his head diced up by the freaking
And
engine
after it
fan.
happens, I'm like, where is everybody? Where's the driver of that truck who just parked his damn vehicle right there? Where are the people who rear-ended them? Where's everybody? It's just emptiness all of a sudden. Like, where's this liminal space we ended up in?
It's like I sincerely hope it was worth it for your 10 piece and a milkshake, buddy.
Must have been the best burger in the world.
Yeah. In-N-Out Burger, well, he out.
Yeah, now.
He out now. All right. So that was Final Destination 3, everybody. So normally I say if we do the random recommendation if you've seen anything, but we are just going to jump right into Final Destination 4 for our next episode. So we'll continue on from there. So stay tuned, everybody. Next week we will be tackling Final Destination 4. And if you wish to delve into the dark bowels of human imagination, ask yourself the simple question: what's in the podcast?
Thank you for joining us on this edition of What's in the Podcast. If you find yourself hungry for more deep cuts into the gloriously morbid and macabre, you can also find us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. You can also follow us on Instagram at Narcotic Casserole 25. Follow us if you dare.